Welcome, Saints Nation. We're about to get ready here with our season finale here in the cLoL League of Legends regular season. My name's Dan Banner, also known as Mr. Danners, and joining me tonight, or not even tonight, it's actually this afternoon. Joining me this afternoon, Matt Avery. Welcome back. You ready for some League of Legends here versus Hunter College?
I am, and always a great thing to have some good old League of Legends on Saturdays, especially today with it being the last one for cLoL regular season.
And the season overall has been kind of hit or miss for our squad compared to some of the other leagues, but nonetheless still doing a solid job as of right now. Then, of course, looking at the starting roster, nothing's changing here on the side of St. Clair. The same mold, not the same mold, but the usual crew. Here ready to go, of course, Kubra in the top lane, Active Force in the jungle, Frez in mid lane, Lazi as your AD carry, and of course, Miensfo as your support. But then on the other side for Hunter College, let's introduce you to Kiana Reeves. That's going to be a fun one to say today. We have Jason, we have Sermonic, we have Dominating, and we have Improved by Lose, which, fair enough, that is a fine statement. Constantly looking at that every single day going into your solo queue grind. Keep the momentum up, I suppose.
Yeah,
And
and
I got baited here, so we have a few picks actually already coming down in this game. Matt, can we go through and see what we have so far?
yeah, and we're getting right through in the draft, and as you can see, it's pretty classic picking bands with the Anivia always going out, Rel, Olaf. And actually, they banned Gnar on the side of St. Clair's time, and then with Skarner and LeBlanc as well. It's going to be Udyr. I believe this is Udyr picked up the first time for Active Force. So, sneaky his way into the through the draft this time and gonna go into the hands of Active Force alongside Oriana and Ornn, two very stable picks from St. Clair, and then having Seraphine, Hecarim, and Camille on the side of Hunting. Huntington? That,
Or
I
Hunter.
believe.
Hunter College.
Hunter, my mistake.
All good. And now it's kind of interesting. Of course, you had mentioned Active Force picking up Udyr for the first time. Udyr is just so solid right now. I'm surprised we didn't see it sooner, but it's just never necessarily been one of, I guess, Active Force's go-tos. It's no Nunu, it's no Olaf, but then we do actually see, of course, in the bans, the Olaf got taken away. So it gets taken off the board and whatnot. We kind of see what's likely to be our top lane matchup already. It's going to be probably Camille versus Ornn. Mid lane, it's odd seeing Frez have his mid laner picked already. So I'm curious why they're withholding their bot lane so much compared to past matches.
Yeah, usually they like to pick up the Kaisa, especially in the first rotation, for the side of St. Clair, and it seems they're gonna leave Lazi that last pick and possibly could be something along the lines like a Samira or a Jin, maybe even a Callista, but for this is not usual for St. Clair to leave but Lazi that last pick. They like to pick him up early and get him out of the way, and gonna be the Vayne picked into the Alistair, Ornn, Udyr, all those tanks, so get a nice little true damage shredder there.
Definitely makes sense.
And
I do like the pick.
yeah, and we'll have to see if they swap Seraphine from mid to or support with that flex available. And looking like
And
gonna be
okay.
Pantheon support actually.
Okay. So
They're gonna keep that Seraphine mid lane.
rather aggressive bot lane here, going to be basically going punch for punch here with the Alistair from Miensfo, but we now have to see, of course, what does Lassie want to pick up to go up against this. Something like a Caitlyn does kind of like scream into my ear like you want this long range poke,
Oh
or
no.
they can just pick up the Ezreal,
Oh no.
which of course does have the poke, and which of course notoriously I absolutely bash on day after day. But at the same time, we did see Lassie's Ezreal in the match on Monday with quite a successful match during game 3 of their game on Monday. However, it was due to a lot of engages going their way. They really got them snowballing early to the point where the other team could not really get anything started. So, sure, if you can shut this match down nice and early, by all means, make this Ezreal work. But I'm still, of course, going to be nervous going into the later and later portions of this game. And I'm probably going to actually ask Zeddy if we do have the opportunity to talk to him here today. It's like, okay, so I rip on Ezreal all the time, so why are people picking it up? Is there anything that stands out to you?
Uh, you know, I'm with you. Not a big fan on the Ezreal, to be honest. Even with the success it did have on Monday, like you said, it didn't work as they like planned as well because you could see that they were almost throwing that lead with the Ezreal
It
still,
was
even
close,
with them.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of miscalculation stuff as it didn't fit properly. It seemed like it just seemed kind of like a comfort pick, maybe. But you're having all this engaged like an Udyr, Ornn, Alistair. You could see like something like a Callista or a Samir who can go in with them or bring some engaged to it. But if you don't really think that an Ezreal would fit into this. You have that true shot barrage that can rip through all the engage, but you you just get kind of like having him for the poke, kind of for that laning
Hmm.
phase.
Like, this is, I guess it can kind of be wrapped up with why I personally like kind of cringe a little bit about Ezreal. I feel like you don't pick Ezreal to win the game as you'd pick Ezreal
Hmm.
not to lose lane. Which, because yes, you're going to be extremely safe. Of course, you have your built-in flash there with the arcane shift and whatnot, but as the game goes on, will it stick? Is what I'm worried about. And it does actually look like we do have contact here with Coach Shadi here from League of Legends team, of course. Shadi, you with us?
Hello.
All right, perfect, perfect. Let's hop into the coach's insights here. So, um, my first question is obviously, where's this Ezreal coming from? Why do I see it twice? You actually lit me on fire a little bit about Twitter on Twitter. Actually, it's like, oh, let me do the metagaming, Danners. So why? I feel like you pick Ezreal to not lose lane, but not win the game. What am I missing here with this champion? Why is it getting picked so much?
There's within the last two patches, there's been a really popular Ezreal build that's using the new Reaver, where if you get Essence Reaver and then Duskblade, you can have your Q be on roughly a 1 to 1.5 second cooldown. I think it's almost exactly 1 at max rank.
Okay.
It's strong, and there's a lot of opportunities where if you can get Ezreal into a safe matchup, you can really abuse the fact that he's just constantly pumping out damage. Not to mention that because of this, that one item power spec on Ezreal is a lot stronger. We can actually play the laning phase a little bit. That being said, draft is a little bit of a negotiation as well. Looking at this draft, I had some other ideas about how I wanted to take the ADC role, but Loy is really confident on the Ezreal, and it was a suggestion that he had. It's something safe. It's not going to get cheesed on by Pantheon. It's not going to get run down by Hecarim very early. So it's something that can kind of survive these hard dive engages that their composition provides.
Interesting, interesting. Matt, you have any questions here?
No, other than the answer, Udyr, I believe it's the first time you've actually had it drafted for active force in a professional game, I think. So usually it's always banned on the side of from you guys. So I was just wondering behind that pick.
So Uyghur is a pick that, as the time has gone on, it's become increasingly more and more popular, and with good reason. It's got a ridiculously high win rate across basically all regions and all ranks. It actually isn't the first time we picked it. We picked it, I believe, in UML. Um,
Okay.
there was a scrim. I'm to be honest, I can't remember when we picked it, but we have played it before in a constructed setting, and it performed pretty well. And we knew that once the Skarner was banned out, because their jungler plays a lot of Skarner, really there were only few limited answers to Udyr, and they're largely unattractive to the way that these guys want to play their comp. They really like having aggressive junglers with
Mhm.
their mid laner to carry. Um, their draft actually surprised us. Seraphine was not something we expected them to pick. We knew it was a possibility, but we didn't really expect it from them. So we wanted to prioritize that Udyr instead. And I mean, thankfully they gave it to us. We'll see how it goes game one, and moving forward from this game, how it's going to impact the rest of the series.
Just one more question here before we do hop into the game itself. Like looking at this team composition on the side of Hunter College, is there anything that you personally would want to focus down, like manipulate this lane first, then go elsewhere, or is it just going to be, you think, like solid lanes all around, pretty standard?
So when you're drafting a composition, you want to think about your composition's narrative. And this is a really hard thing to do, and it's something that we've executed a number of times. But typically, we've actually won draft a lot of the time because we're better at setting a narrative with our draft. Their draft has a really awkward narrative. They have a really late game scaling ADC with a very hyper early game support. They have a early game kind of mid game jungler with a mid laner that needs a little bit of time to scale, and then they have a late game scaling top lane. Like they're kind of all over the place, and it's not to say that your comp should have either all late game scaling or all early game scaling, but it's just the timings of their champions when they come online and how they come online is really odd. So it's very obvious from their composition that the only way they can execute is by prioritizing a lot of resources mid, which gives us an opening to, in return, kind of dive them down top as they whenever they try to leave their pantheon out of lane. So it's just looking for opportunities to exploit the windows. That being said, I mean, the game is really, it all comes down to execution. You know, what the matchups are, what the game state is, if we manage to win the Scuttle Crab fight, if we manage to gain priority and top early, how that affects the state of the game. So it really comes down to how the guys execute this game. But coming up from draft, I feel pretty good about this game.
Sounds good. Looking forward to seeing what happens on here. We're getting right into the game. So Shadi, thank you very much for your insight here as we go into game number 1. We will talk to you at the start of game 2. Thank you again.
Awesome. See you then.
Now, of course, as we had Shadi wrapping up his thoughts there, we did see a bit of a death ball come out from the side of Hunter College, trying to mess with Kubra a little bit, but he gets out of dodge just in time, completely fine, and didn't even have to blow his flash, so everything else A-okay.
I'm a bit of a question marking that ping on.
Ping.
Yeah. You really see that this Pantheon is just trying his best to put as much pressure down in that early game, give his bot lane some goal XP level 1, but does do a lot of damage here to Frez early on. Gonna be, I believe, the leash for Hecarim, and it's gonna be the Vayne taking a little bit of damage there. Not too much though, and does have that XP advantage from getting level 1 solo. So we'll be getting it most likely off this first mini second wave, and pretty questionable start, I'd say so.
It definitely odd, and we're going to see, because both of these bot lanes would not mind diving in early. Manso, however, may have been a little bit preemptive with that pulverize, so the combo is going to be whiffed. But of course, this is kind of what I was saying in regards to Ezreal, how it was just so damn safe. Like, sure, Pantheon jumps on in, that's okay. Just E away, Arcane Shift away, and the engage is basically dead. So Lousy not going to worry too much here. Meanwhile, every other lane, they're just beating and banging on each other. And we see Mansfield diving in once again, dominating, still level 1, but Mansfield could be caught off guard. He is going to get ignited down. Lousy still fighting away. He could very well turn it onto Improved by Lose. One more auto attack. Mansfield is going to survive as well. Dominating in the minion wave is going to go down as well. Double kill Lousy to start off this game.
Yeah, and it looked like a really bad play at the start there from Mansfield going in, and Lazi wasn't able to really get in there with him as he didn't have his Arcane Shift up to go forward, and the minion wave was blocking all his Qs, so looked really bad. And then Improved by Luz just got stuck behind with Lazi as Dominating went forward and just ended up taking too much damage and didn't win the trade.
Definitely a heartbreaker there for the bot lane of Hunter College, as we do see it a gank up on the top side of things. Actiforce was in bear form, ready to smack Kiana Reeves on the head and give him a quick old stun, but the flash away gonna keep her safe for the time being. But back to the bot lane for the second here. Dominating and Improved by Luz. They blew every resource in the book. I mean, granted, Improved by Luz already blew his flash from that initial top lane gank attempt, but they got absolutely no return out of that, so that is going to hurt like hell for this Hunter College squad, especially with how vulnerable Vayne can sometimes be early on.
I think if that little top lane flash didn't happen, they most likely could have got Mansfield and turned it around onto Lazi. Sure. But with a little bit of overextension there from Improved by Luz, just wasn't in. But I think Jason's in a pretty bad spot here. He's gonna get hit. He actually cancels the E, but they're not popping the blast cone. He's actually gonna go straight up in the air and he's gonna get stunned up. Pops the ghost, but he may be able to. No, actually,
delivery.
Gosh, it's unfortunate. It's actually gonna be Lazi going down here burns the flash as well, and dominating gets a really good trade kill down bot lane.
Yeah, contrary to popular belief, flashing away from an auto attack does not make you dodge it, and it's going to be Lassie getting condemned actually to finish things off there. A nice little play there from dominating to at least answer back. Sure, Lassie's got himself a double, has himself a Sheen, which is already a pretty early little mini spike in itself, but at least dominating, keeping himself in the game, and now able to get himself the experience lead since he was able to take away Lassie's life that time.
Yeah, and it looks like Frez may get jumped on here. Who does get a nice ward and was actually out of vision from the Pantheon, but he's actually gonna get stunned. It's gonna be a 3-man mid here. Frez just going down, burns the flash as well. Can't flash auto attacks. Feels bad, man.
Nice little gather up, a nice little gank there from the side of Hunter College. Once again, I don't know what it is about that little area between the mid turret and then before you go into the river, but I see Frez get smoked there time after time from people just sitting and waiting with the ganks, and especially with Improved by Lose on that Pantheon. That's exactly what he wants to do all day, just constantly ganking around, almost in like Mansfo Leona kind of fashion. Barely ever with the bot laner, just constantly making trips up to mid, making trips up to top, and going anywhere to try and find themselves a skirmish. But even though that last fight did not go into St. Clair's favor, they're able to regroup in time to pick up that Infernal Dragon and at least get that on the board to keep this thing even.
And you could see before the engage happened, Frez was a bit suspicious of someone being in that bush. He kind of was playing a little safe, trying to get a nice ward over the wall, and he did get it, and the Pantheon didn't realize, but still dies to that engage because of the hook shot. But gonna be a little poke going down onto Improve, but blocks it all the way with his shield, and we're going to go back to a little stalemate here. Gold actually going in the favor now of Hunter by about 200, not much, but pretty dead even game.
Yeah, since Lassie did end up going down, that gave dominating a much better time to just straight up free farm down in that bot lane. I think that's the biggest difference alongside the top lane difference, which, I mean, in theory, I feel like I was gonna say Kiana, I got baited. A Camille probably messes up an Ornn for at least the first little bit before he gets super tanky. I could be wrong, but nonetheless, Kubra on the wrong end of the CSing wars here up in this top lane.
Yeah, Camille just kind of bullies out anyone, and it seems like it's just kind of a response to the Camille tank that can be able to manage in lane without inting too hard to the Camille and losing. Actually, nice flash charm. It's just gonna be everyone mid lane again. The Hecarim on top with the Camille, and that's just really good play out of Simonic there.
That's one of those ganks where you just kind of sit there. Hello, Mansfo. Goodbye, Mansfo.
No.
That was unfortunate. Not quite going to land the mark. Ping, 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 indeed. But
yeah,
that was definitely brutal. That mid gank, Frez, you just take your hands off the keyboard and it's like, there's nothing I can do here. Meanwhile, down by this bot lane, this blue buff here on the red side, Improved by Lose, going to get slapped up here by Active Force. He is going to find the elimination. Now, dominating, a little bit out of position, going to get stunned up. Lassie has been exposed to the Hecarim, but not enough damage coming out of this Hecarim just yet. Is Active Force going to further pursue? No. So it's only going to be, or actually not only, it's going to be 2 kills going over into St. Clair's favor. So at least they got the better of that to kind of make up for those last 2 ganks.
Yeah, and the Veins is only level, ooh, nice little buffer there from the Camille to cancel Cooper, but he's taking a lot of damage, and if he's not careful, Cooper may engage on it and possibly looking. He's going to call the Ornhorn in. It's the knock up, and they throw the E down, possibly goes for it. Oh, it's a nice buffer through, but Camille just going to get clapped. And Cooper finding himself a solo kill in that top lane.
I'm speechless that even got the opportunity to happen. The Camille, Keanu Reeves had that flash for an eternity. Could have flashed at any point, but opted to wait till the auto attack was again already underway, so it still bonks you outside the head anyway, regardless of how far away you are. So it's a nice solo kill here for Kubra, and gets himself tied up again here in the CS department. After getting beat up maybe a little bit, able to turn it around himself was absolutely crazy. And real quick, of course, as we were going through the pregame show and whatnot, the prediction for the match was who's going to get the better KDA in game number 1 between Frez and Kubra. 57% of you are voting for Frez, so looking forward to seeing how that goes, considering as of right now, he's definitely been pretty hard-focused here from the side of Hunter College. Kubra starting off strong. It's been very quiet up there in that top lane, don't get me wrong, but it is still extremely early here in this game. Very well could turn around.
Yeah, and going back to that top fight, the Camille really was not trying to burn the flash, as you can see. A little engaged to the Panther coming down onto Lazi. He does burn the flash, but he's going to get hit by the... Oh, it's actually going to be a trade kill.
Worth.
Yeah, pretty worth. Just kind of bursted down the Pantheon, and Pantheon Shield no longer tanks the auto attack, and Lazi may find... Not Lazi, Mansfield might find himself in a little bit of trouble here, as yes, one person behind him, but Active Force is onto the Camille on the top lane. He's just going straight in. Uber's right behind him, and this possibly maybe kill as he doesn't have the hook shot or the flash anymore, and he's just going to run back into the pit. It's just going to be another kill going over to St. Clair. That's going to be Active Force picking up second one onto Camille.
Yeah, you already used your hook shot. Your flash is still on cooldown. There is not much else you can do against an Udyr just constantly charging at you in bear stance. So it is going to get taken down nice and quick, and that Rift Herald is likely going to go into the hands of Active Force, who again is having a fantastic start to the series. Again, these aggressive style junglers, it makes sense why they like them so much, because constantly Active Force finds himself ahead, he's looking for skirmishes, and he's trying to help out the rest of his lanes. But because he did make the trip to the top lane, that does allow that Windrake to go into the hands of Hunter College. But it also then, of course, lets the Rift Herald go into our pocket. And Lassie got disconnected, it looks like here, so we're going to take ourselves a very quick second, throw it back on over to us for a moment, as we wait for the teams to get themselves back in order. Unfortunately, there for Lassie getting DC'd. I don't think this is the first time this season. It looks like it's going to be a quick one, though, nonetheless, which is good. But interesting back and forth of blows here. I always think that that Yvain's slower than what she actually is in terms of like ramping up. I always keep forgetting that, you know, Yvain can actually do something early game. It just takes like level 2. You can still do a good chunk of damage, or even level 3 even, but that bot lane looks a bit brawly, to say the least.
Yeah, it's more of that divey side for the side of Hunter, and the Vayne does have that pressure onto the Ezreal in that 1v1, but even though the Pantheon is running around the map still, he is behind XP compared to Lazi's, as he's down about probably about half a level, it looks like, but he's up in CS, so he'll keep up, and seems as everyone's readying up, the game will be resuming in the next few seconds. So
good. Yeah, R's being thrown around and whatnot, so it should be pretty well and good to go in just a moment. Well, one thing I also want to point out for being kind of interesting is Rise is just getting locked down so far here. There has been twice where you get Kiana Reeves from the top lane, the jungler's there, Improved by Luz comes from the bot lane to go gank Rez. What happened to get him such a target on his back as we hop into the game again?
Yeah, that seems like they're trying to really hyperscale this Seraphine into the game earlier than she's intended to be. Having that, looks like about almost 20 CS up on Prez in the mid lane there. Going towards that Moonstone, most likely get those shields and healing down onto the team. So really trying to get her into the game before he's intended to, and make more of a presence in these team fights and such.
Would definitely make sense. I know, sure, Lassie's got himself 4 kills, but he can whip out as many Mystic shots as he wants, but if it's constantly just getting absorbed by shields, I guess it does not matter in the end. You need a little bit more damage than that, and that's exactly where Simonic on that Seraphine will come into clutch. And of course, that Encore ultimate is just too good at engaging. Basically, it's 10 times better than Sona, it seems, nowadays, with how much extra range you can get on that thing. But I miss Sona. I miss when champions were simple, man.
Yeah, a little move speed here, move speed there, not this. You have to stack things to actually get it to work, but you know, we can. If I can do it, or if you can do it, I can do it 10 times better, is what Seraphine says. So
There was a video I seen not too long ago where they are comparing. It would have been, what's the word when like just things get better over time. I'm completely dropping the ball here, but I'm gonna hang on a sec. Is Active Force gonna opt to go for this? Just a little boop on the head and moves on forward. Or power creep, that's what the word I'm looking for. But we're gonna have to hang on a second. Turret fates are going to fall soon, so that is going to be the Rift Heralds coming down up in that top lane, and it is going to actually cash in too, so not bad. But
yeah, a little throw there as there's about 15 seconds left before the turret plates went. So they're down in that top lane. It's the only place they can really do is. Cooper did take 3 plates by himself, so really good stuff coming up from him.
oh, for sure. More
Couple
coming up.
down the bot lane. Yeah, one last one is bot lane, and if Dominating doesn't get here quick enough, is maybe the first another tower going down. But he does arrive and won't be getting that tower today.
Just one Q does that much damage, right? Damn. Oh, make that another. Let's hope that, excuse me, that Lassie can keep on finding these shots as the game goes on. Yeah, what I was trying to think about was, I was looking at a video in regards to League of Legends power creep. You look at Alistar's abilities. I hit ground and I knock you up. Meanwhile, like, Samira has 3 paragraphs and that was only her passive. So it's like, it's crazy how things definitely change as things goes on. And oh gosh, that's a death bush. Goodbye, Dominating. Can they find Improve by Lose as well? Absolutely. Past 2 more kills over to Lassie.
Yeah, they're gonna really bait that one up, but it's looking like Frez is getting engaged on again. Does get the pullback, but the Encore is actually gonna go wide, and Frez will be able to get out of this free because of that. And also burn the flash, but really not good coordination between two. But now it's gonna be a re-engage. Nice flash from Simonic there, but Jason does get caught up and most likely will be going down to Kubra. It's going to be the Alpha actually picking up with Cinderhulk there. A good little turnaround there onto from the engage of Hunter.
I was actually like just seconds away from saying, Frez, why are you walking back into the fight? To bait Simonic back in. Absolutely. I like what I saw there because it worked this time. Frez did not get caught out. That being said, though, Kiana Reeves making the way down to the mid lane, forcing the flash out of Kubra, but no further engage as we see a couple members on the side of Hunter College still looking to push that mid lane. But the next dragon is up in 30 seconds. I'm sure the Saints are looking to regroup.
Yeah, you can really see that there wasn't really that much coordination there from Jason and Simonic. He was expecting that he would still be feared where he shot that, but the Hekrami pulled him aside and kind of just whiffed it for first Simonic. But it's going to be engaged onto Jason here, just getting absolutely shredded. Just going to go down right now. And it's going to be Active Force running down, Dominating now. The Horn coming in, but a little bit overkill as they take out Demonic as well. Lazi get another double kill.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so this Ezreal is absolutely fed at this point. 8 kills already, and there's probably still more where that came from. That's going to be a solid encore coming out of Simonic, but that is going to be Lassie finding Simonic in the end, and then Frez gets on the board taking care of Improved by Lose. So they're going to get themselves a bunch of kills. That Dragon's going to go in their pocket, and they're likely going to maybe make a push towards this mid lane turret. Possibly. We'll see if Lassie looks forward to take care of it. Sure enough, going to be the case. Massive play, massive profits coming out here for St. Clair.
Yeah, and this is really looking grim for the side of Hunter as they are not really getting much out of these fights. They're getting caught in these awkward choke points and running straight into these blind areas and just getting picked off and just really not using the lead they built themselves in that mid lane and bot lane.
Where do they look now? However, they of course got pretty much the first tier turrets gone in every lane for St. Clair. Where do they move now? Maybe one more attempt at a Rift Herald. They still have about 2 minutes before that switches over to Baron. Would be a nice pickup. We do see Active Force nearby as well after maybe taking this red. And Mianzo doing as Mianzo always does, not usually in the bot lane. However, Lazzie's there alongside them. They're just going to let Frez take that bot lane farm for himself, considering he could always teleport in if necessary. And now, invading into the jungle. Do they find anything? Just a word, but Saints definitely have the control of the map right now.
Yeah, and really just clearing out all this vision that just got placed from Hunter College there, and getting that vision. Is actually going to start Baron here. Hello, not even Baron. It's only 18 minutes. My mistake. It's Rift Herald right here. It's getting taken for the second time on the side of St. Clair.
One of the few times that I see Rift Herald be taken by more than 1 or 2 people. Usually it's just 2 people kind of like slowly taking it down. You don't get the whole group out for it, but I mean, with the amount of map control that St. Clair has right now, I mean, get the whole gang here. Just let Frez do his own thing in the bot lane. Everybody else, come take this down and let's get ready to push a lane.
Yeah, it seems they're gonna throw this Herald down for this tier 2, possibly. Try to get
Here
some.
it comes.
Yep, there it comes. Getting a little vision clear there, and it's gonna just destroy this tower as the demolish goes off from Cooper here, and they have Lazzy pushing in that mid lane on dominating there, and trying to keep some pressure as Frez backs him up. We have 4 members coming up to this top side, so if they're not careful, they may get the root just barely missing Action Force there, which possibly might have been an engage from Improve if it hit, but just went a little to the side and missed him. Cooper might be getting a little greedy here for the Wolves.
Oh, he's got
Does
backup
have
though.
Active Force. Does have Active Force right on the side there. Firms that chem tank there to get near him, but they're really just moving as this team around the map to try and catch people out, but they're not able to find the pick they want, and thankfully just gets away with these little pushes.
Now that we've hit that 20-minute mark, Baron Asher will be here to play. Nice little juke here from Lassie, going to get away from Keanu Reeves. But here comes Mianzo, here comes Improve to lose, who's going to get absolutely popped. I always thought the Pantheon was supposed to be tanky. Boy, was I wrong. As we do see Cooper just completely soloing Jason, keeping him away from the fight. Forced to use the ultimate in a retreat kind of manner. So now Saint's going to be able to take this bot turret pretty well uncontested. All grouped up. Keanu Reeves forced to run basically into the Saints side of the base in order to keep himself alive. Tower goes down, steals some minions, and then what? Think of a Baron, or possibly try to wait a little bit and get ready for this next dragon in a minute 30.
Yeah, and having that Hecarim not there, they're really looking for that engage on the Lazzy. And then when they saw him bot lane, they had a Pantheon coming down, but it's a Pantheon with no items yet, and he's not going to do that much when you have a Ezreal one-shotting hacker team. So a little bit of a miscalculation, as St. Clair was already expecting that to happen, and they're going to prepare to possibly set up for a Baron here. Do know where this Pantheon is, and it seems like they're going to actually go for him. Doesn't have the ulti to escape, but Force is going to call it off as he goes back into the deep jungle and backs off. But the Baron's going to get started up here. Clair is doing a decent amount of damage to it. Does get spotted out on a ward. Pantheon did complete his back, so he has to run all the way there. And Cooper's on the flank of the team, and it looks like they're going to try and engage onto him. But the Baron's going to be gone, and Cooper all has to burn his flash.
Yeah, this is going to be brutal in just a second here, as we do see Active Force and Cooper and Mianzo all leading the charge. Here comes the charm. That's going to get 4, actually. Big long-range ultimate coming out of the side of Hunter College, and it's going to allow them to actually find Frez and find Cooper nice and quick, but it's going to be Active Force versus the world, it seems like. Lassie, again, kind of stuck. He's going to flash forward, but what is he going to do? I don't think he could do really anything. They have the Baron, and they still got absolutely screwed, thanks to that gigantic ultimate by Symonic Seraphine.
Oh, you hate to see it. You take Baron and you look at that and you have this great engage, but the 4-man charm coming out from Symonic just destroys the entire side of St. Clair, and Kubra, Frez, and Lazzy weren't able to get their ulti off once during the entire fight, which is the reason they won the fight, mainly because they just had so much CC and kept them locked down. But a really good comeback from the side of Hunter College there. The Vayne getting 2 big shutdowns as well
Mm-hmm.
as Camille getting 3 there. So everyone really cashing in on that, and they're gonna put themselves up a lot of gold and really catching up. Only about 3K down now.
Such an insane swing of events here for the side of Hunter College, because in theory, you get that set up properly, that team fight set up and whatnot. That you get the Baron, they got the Baron for free. Jason was nowhere near that. As we see him actually face checking against Active Force here, gonna scare him away, but and Saints like would get the dragon and they would now be on soul point. But now it's tied up and it's like nobody's really threatened. Like Hunter College doesn't have to worry too much still. They still have a lot of time to catch back up, scale that Vayne further, scale that Seraphine, and just become more and more threatening as this game goes on. Which again, I don't know necessarily too much in regards to this build here from Ezreal, but I still feel like Ez late game compared to Vayne late game, I think I like the Vayne better.
Yeah, the Vayne's really more favored in that late game as she can just go invisible and dash around. But, you know, if she takes that much damage, she's just gonna get one shot. Yeah, and, you know, you kind of can't take that much damage as Vayne, though, so...
Yeah,
looking like they're actually gonna have Jason on the flank here, so if this is gonna be an engage... But no, he's just gonna back off and just get inhib for free as their main carry is dead off that play from Lazi, and he's gonna run to his bot lane now to push it up and try and pressure a bit more. Dominating up in about 10 seconds, so if they're not careful, they may get engaged on, but as long as he doesn't hit another 4-man ulti, you won't have everyone wasting. Actually, he's tanking a lot of damage here. They're about half his health just from tower shots, but burn that chem tank to get out of there, and it looks like everyone's going to retreat and go for a back.
That little engage there from Lazion to dominating is exactly why the AD carries basically always need a buddy. They need somebody to stand behind, because whether it's getting poked up by Mystic shots or taking the complete full brunt damage of a True Shot Barrage, which of course gets weaker the more targets it passes through. So if you just get sniped all by yourself, that's absolutely brutal. Improved by Luz might be getting himself caught out here, is going to use that stopwatch, but then again, the charm is looking good, but nobody's there to follow up this time. They're going to be able to turn this right onto Keanu Reeves, who teleported in right into the middle of the fight, but they're going to try this anyway. A good ultimate coming out here from Jason, but it's still not going to be enough. The only casualty on the side of the Saints is going to be the Udyr. It is going to be Active Force going down, but Saints, by taking 2, might be able to push us an inhibitor a little bit more, considering it's still 2 minutes before Baron or Dragon shows up.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a really good, but dominating, not able to get anywhere near that fight, and just really couldn't be as effective as he could have been, and hitting that 3-man charm would have been a 4-man, but Lazi did shift out of there and hitting a 3-man fear afterwards. It'll be a 5-man cancel on improve, but St. Clair's not too happy about that one, and he may lose his life a bit faster than the other members.
Hey, at least he was able to get out of there. That would have just been too funny if he poked everybody and then just got one shot and died, but not going to be the case. Will survive for now. And taking a look now, just as everybody backs up before we do get back into the next action, just continuing our little mini game in regards to who's going to have the better KDA. Well, how about that? They're within 1 point of each other right here, right now. Or I say KDA, but I'm referring to... Oh no, I have to actually refer to it as KDA, that's why I put it on. I don't want to be misleading. So in that case, because Kubra has less deaths, so far, Kubra stays in the lead here in this game. But it's stupid, stupid close.
Yeah, Frez kind of been a casualty this game of everyone's target. May find Jason here in the jungle, but
Oh, they're trying.
Yeah, he's gonna get headbutted away there from Mianso. Improve, taking a lot of damage there from Lazi. If he's not careful, gonna get one shot, just like dominating was. But Baron up in about 20 seconds, and St. Clair's in a really good position to look to secure that.
So one thing I'll give Frez credit for, of those 3 deaths, 2 of them were from like the first 10 minutes of the game. Ever since then, he maybe only got cut out once, which is like, not that it's A-okay, but it's definitely much better compared to just constantly getting popped over and over again here. But Now, where do we go? We're going to split objectives here with Hunter possibly looking for the dragon while Saints go Baron. If so, they need to burn that dragon and burn it quickly. They're kind of indecisive here. They sent 2 towards the dragon and then sending everybody else towards the Baron. And I don't... Actually, not even. They're just going to let the Baron go and then send 2 down towards dragon. They are going to pick that dragon up, so okay, they were able to burn it down quickly. But just because Saints have Baron does not mean that this is going to be an easy fight. We do see them trying to charge down onto Keanu Reeves. Going to be the Horn. Does not find it. Does ult through it. But Actiforce, basically by himself, is able to turn this one around. But here comes the cavalry. Charges on in. Charmed Beard. What else do you want against you here? Actiforce going to go down. Can the Saints find an opportunity to turn this? Look for that shockwave from Frez if he can find the target to jump onto. But the rest of the Hunter squad are at least slowing down for the time being. That being said, though, they have to be careful as he shows himself. Keanu Reeves nearby as well. Hook shot over the wall. Forced to flash out as well. Bit of a disengage, but Saints are still pushing.
If I'm Hunter College right now, I would just take that 1 pick on Actiforce and leave. You don't need to do much more after that because you got a huge overextension from St. Clair, really committing onto Keanu Reeves there. But not able to find him. He's still alive. But did find Actiforce in the end and almost lost 2 members afterwards after a little bit of a overextension. But St. Clair just keeping this pressure on this top wave. Got a 6k gold lead over the side of Hunter College. But they did trade for that Baron, the soul point, so do put St. Clair in an awkward position if they do manage to stall this game out for the next 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, in theory, if everything was working perfectly here for the St. Clair squad, it should be them on the soul point right here, right now, or in fact, they should have the soul. But unfortunately, just that come from behind teamfight victory off of that gigantic encore from Simonic earlier in this game is now turning the tide to give Hunter College soul points if they can keep this up. And at least here for St. Clair, there is a minute between the 2 objectives, but they may not need it if they can find themselves a solid engage right here, right now. That's going to be ultimate coming up from Jason. Snipes them right on target, and they're going to find more. And that's a pretty critical target as well, dominating the AD carry down in this next fight. 1 inhibitor has respawned, but it's probably not going to be long for this world. It's going to get taken down nice and quick. Can Saints push this to the Nexus or try to push maybe some additional turrets? What can they get off of these 2 picks?
Looks like they're wanting to try and end this game. They're very committed to killing off this Camille every single time. Wazzy trying to get some damage on to improve, but the shield blocks everything. And this is going to have to be a nice encore.
Here we go.
3 members there, and this is going to be the engage coming in. Camille going golden. They're just going to kill off Simonic there, and that's just going to be the ace coming through from St. Clair most likely. Yes.
There it goes.
Finish off everyone. That's going to be game 1 going over the side of St. Clair.
Looked a little bit scary. It was much closer than I was expecting with the way this match was going. But St. Clair, of course, going to take that first one. But it being a best of 3 means we are not done. Not even close. Not yet. Once again, though, Lassie and Chadi and the rest of the Saints are going to make me shut up about this Ezreal pick. I guess I got to move on from that now. I need new content. But
no, I'm still holding it on that Ezreal, you know.
All right, I'm glad it's not just me.
He's only 3 for 7 right now. We've seen more than 10 times at least. You know, he's lost 7 of the games.
And now, before we do hop into this next matchup, of course, we do want to finalize the mini game here. So we have Kubra, 1 kill, 1 death, and 12 assists. So that's 12 points his way. Then Frez, 7 kills, 3 deaths. And is this actually a tie? Because I'm using the kills and assists are 1 point, deaths is 1 point against you. Is this a 12 on 12? If that is the case, what I end up doing is whoever had the least amount of deaths is the winner in tiebreakers.
It is a tie, and that would be Cooper winning.
Yeah, just because of the least amount of deaths. People are going to call me a fraud for that one for sure. I need a better tiebreak system, because normally I just do kills and assists, but I accidentally put KDA. So I ruined my my standard tiebreaker process. But nonetheless, in regards to that. We'll go over to Cooper. You all can hate me later. That's A-okay. But anyway, in regards to game number 1, just those last 2 picks just completely derailed the Hunter College squad. That one was still within reach. They may have been behind, but they had like some things going for them. Their inhibitor respawned. They were on Soul Point. Objectives were still a little bit of time. They just had to defend just a little bit longer. But they all got caught out. So
Yeah, they're very committed to try and kill off this Camille every single time she showed her head in the lanes, but yeah, was very unfortunate.
yeah, and then as we get ready for game number 2, it looks like they're not going to take any breathers in the slightest. You may hear it already. We're going to be getting back into the swing of things, back into the draft. It's time for game number 2. Saints on the blue side with Hunter College on the red. Of course, Saints up 1, but what can change for this next draft? There wasn't really anything super specific, I feel like, from that match that's like, okay, we need to target this and ban this. So what kind of adjustments would you expect from either of these squads then, other than us just poking fun at Ezreal constantly?
I don't think St. Clair's ever going to change their bans. You know, they have a Skarner 1 trick essentially. Have that LeBlanc off the board. You know, St. Clair's always been the team to also ban out very useless picks on the side of the enemy team, even after dumpstering them on it. So,
which is true.
You don't know what to really expect when it comes to it. They are on the first side, and they didn't want to take the Skarner. You know, they could have left it up and forced them to ban it, but they are going to leave the banning phase 2 pretty similar how it was. Most likely going to be Anivia, but actually Seraphine, so it's probably going to be a first pick Anivia here from the side of St. Clair. As it's actually going to be the Udyr coming back out, as they don't want it to go into the hands of Jason. So Akbar's going to pick himself up that Udyr once again, but the Anivia ban left, or Anivia pick left open for Frez, so I'm expecting it to come through, as anytime it is open, they do not ever hesitate on picking it. But Camille going to be the pick into that top lane once again. May see probably an Ornn coming through from Kuber after a pretty successful laning phase versus him. Not much of a, you didn't feel it was much of a threat against Keanu Reeves there. Let's see what they want to pick next. They're going to stick back to it, possibly running the salty run back, you know, having the Camille hack from there, see what St. Clair wants to respond. They're going to leave their bot lane for a while. Look, Kaisa is up, still a very strong pick. But
I mean, think about this Hunter College squad from the last game, that Camille and Hecarim, I think it was more execution flaw than actual character flaw, and you did think that we were going to see the early Anivia pick, and Frez got it finally. It's been how many matches here across like multiple competitive League of Legends collegiate leagues, and finally we get to see Frez on one of his favorites anyway. It's not a Kiana, but Anivia is still definitely up there.
yeah, and Anivia pretty expected, and there's the Ornn that is going to go into the Camille, but of a standard pick there, as he didn't have a rough time other than that early game. But see what they're gonna swap for this mid lane now, since they did ban out the Seraphine, as they don't want it on the side of St. Clair. But as we know, St. Clair isn't a team to run a Seraphine usually. It's gonna be the Victor coming out from Samonic this time, a bit of a more damage heavy champion against this Anivia, more poke, but very volatile lane in general. Gonna ban out the Kaisa on the side of Hunter College against Lazi. Again, leaving the ADC and support on both sides for that last phase, picking the entire top side of the map.
Definitely hope that the side of Hunter, for dominating and improved by lose, maybe pick something a little bit more flush, a little bit more fluid compared to Bane Pantheon, because similar to what Shoddy Coach was saying earlier, felt like though that bot lane pick mixed in with the rest of that team, it felt like they all want to do completely different things. So hopefully for their side, they end up picking something that kind of meshes in a a little bit more with the team composition that they're going for here. But it is going to be weird seeing Sermonic on this Victor instead, because of course, even the reason that Hunter College was even close in that last game was constantly finding these fantastic encores. But now, on this Victor, of course, yes, great, you get some burst damage, that's fantastic, but you don't have that gigantic playmaking potential that he had before. So it's going to be a little bit unfortunate, but at least possibly making up for it with the amount of DPS he could pump out.
Yeah, and it's going to be Alistair, Leona, and Jin finishing off. And with this Thresh, it's looking like they might go towards an Aphelios for this last pick, leaving the ADC for the counter against Lazi and Mianspo. Having Thresh is a pretty dead giveaway. You're going to go for something of a more immobile champion, such as that Aphelios, maybe a Jinx or like a Jin. But with the Jin ban, it's looking like Aphelios, and Nautilus gets picked up. Might be towards that Kalista that I was talking about in the last game. Has been picking up a lot of speed recently as more tanky engaged supports have been the more go-to. Let's see what Lazi is thinking, but he's actually going to go back to the Ezreal once again and have to see the response this time. If they're going to opt for the Vayne again, if it's going to be a bit more successful, but looking like a possible Aphelios.
I mean, Lazi, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I suppose. And it's going to be Samira coming out here this time for dominating. I thought that it was going to go to a Jinx because we saw dominating kind of hover it a little bit during champ selects in game 1, but not going to be the case at all. So possibly a little bit of spin the win action here in that bot lane. A little bit of aggression, still has some late game power as well. We're not going to completely different, but that bot side, definitely a complete game changer, or not a game changer, but strategy change coming up from them.
Yeah, picking the Samira up, it's more of a, it's like, once again, like a bit of an aggressive lane, having Samira in the Thresh. The Thresh, less of a champion that can move around the map, he can still have the impacts that someone else would, but more of that has to stay near his ADC to keep him alive. Make sure he doesn't get just clearly one shot by anyone on the side of St. Clair. But have to see how they want to take this, as Samir have been heavily nerfed. With that AD ratio going down, alongside the inability to jump between allies with her E now. So Fresh to be there to negate that, but have to see how they manage this new comp.
Absolutely here. And now taking a look at what I'll actually talk about this one in a little bit here, because we do have Coach Shadi back on the line here. Shadi, you with us again?
Oh,
Perfect. Welcome back to the Coach's Insights section here of the broadcast. So we have a slight difference in regards to the bot lane and mid lane here on the side of Hunter College. And I mean, like the team composition for you guys, pretty well the same, except they actually let Anivia through, which is kind of interesting. So why does, I'm going to go for the bird here. Why does Anivia get banned out so constantly in this meta?
That's actually not a meta ban. It's literally just because it's Andre's most played champion.
Really? It's just a target, eh?
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, like Brez, when he has the Anivia, he does some pretty crazy things with it. I've been pretty impressed with how he's performed on that champion overall. So it's really interesting that they actually let it open for us. I think they were worried about the Seraphine flex. Going into today's game, my team was talking about how Seraphine is either a pick or a ban champ. And I kind of took a gamble game 1, leaving it open, because I looked at, after doing some scouting, they didn't really play the champ. And I mean, they didn't really perform on it last game either. Like, they didn't really have a flex value. Their support doesn't play it. Their mid lane picked it, but he did the wrong build. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. So I think they got scared because we actually play the champ. We've played it both mid and support. So I think they were just a little bit worried about the flex pick on our side from blue side. So that's really how the draft adjusts, right? So when sides swip, you have to kind of take advantage of first pick versus last pick and how that affects your counter picking. So champs like Seraphine that can be easily blind picked, they're really scary on blue side. Whereas champs like Anivia, which you don't usually want to blind pick, are a little riskier. So we got the Anivia. We're happy about it. It's basically the same game, but better for us. So hoping that we can execute just as hard as we did game one.
Sounds good. Matt, what do you got?
Just mainly focus this bot lane to see how they do lose the Alistair, but have the Nautilus to back up the Ezreal into the Samir Thresh. I just want to get your opinion on that lane.
So Samira as a champion, especially after 11.4, she took a really significant power hit. We knew going into this game that their AD carry almost exclusively played Samira. And we didn't ban it game one because honestly, after testing it ourselves on the new patch, it doesn't feel very good. It really needs a good lane to get to late game, and its laning phase is even worse than it was before. Samira was always good at level 3, but her level 1 was quite poor, and now it's even worse. Her passive is really hard to use. Her E can't jump through allies. Like, there's so many things wrong with this champion. So we're really not too scared about the Samira. Not to mention the fact they've picked Samira into Ornn, Anivia, and Udyr. Two of those champs that basically have a point-and-click CC that just make it impossible for to get her ult off in a fight. And now we have Nautilus in the bottom lane. So I really, honestly, looking at their draft, I'm not super scared about this bot lane at all. We saw Lloyd pop off on the Ezreal last game. I don't see any reason why that should change going into game.
Fair enough, fair enough. One final thing, just trying to think here. We'll take a look at, just mentioned scaling 1 second. So before we had talked about like team compositions on a timer and whatnot, do you feel like either of these teams are like a time bomb going off, or they're going to kind of scale up evenly and it's just going to be a bloodbath?
I mean, our comp is basically the same as last game. The only difference is that we actually have more damage, really, and like it hits harder. Anivia is one of the better late game scaling mages in the game, and honestly, she has a really good laning phase as well. The popular champions kind of coming into the preseason were champs that had really good laning phases and really good late games, but kind of had a divot in the mid game. I think that's a pretty good assessment of how Anivia functions as a champion. Thankfully, our comp has a lot of ways of getting through the mid game, right? We have a really strong bot lane. We have an Udyr, which is really good on two items with the Chem Tank and the Dead Man's Plate. So we have kind of like this early game pressure in the through mid lane that can set up for support or jungle. Then you get into the mid game and we have jungle ADC. Then we get to late game and we have Ornn plus Anivia plus all these champions that are not going to have these ornaments. So it's just, I don't know. It just feels really good. I don't know why they kept it the same draft after it kind of bombed game one. It just seems like this is the strategy they're comfortable on. And unfortunately, it didn't plan out game one, and I don't expect it to pan out for them game two. I feel really good going into this game.
Sounds good. It's just about to get underway. So once again, Shadi, thank you for lending us your insight here in regards to the League of Legends matchup at hand. So thank you once again. Good luck into game number 2, rather, and maybe we'll see you later, maybe not, as we do see actually first blood. Oh god, that flash. Yeah, it's going to be first blood going over to Lassie, starting off strong. Thank you, Shadi.
Thank you.
The action starting off right away, can barely even give him the proper outro necessary. But of course, big thank you again to Shadi for the insight.
I don't even know, what are they doing there? I don't even understand. They're sitting under Frog Bush. I don't know if they're waiting for the Udyr to come around and pick him off, or they're expecting him to rotate through there, but it was just so bad.
That just did not work.
They don't have the tools to do a 2v2 against a Nautilus who starts Q and an Ezreal who does this. And this is just going to be a free invade onto the Hecarim. He's lucky that the Q does miss onto Jason, but just so bad and just throws their laning phase as Lassie's already got a kill on the board.
I mean, unless they can get themselves a skirmish around this blue buff to kind of turn this around, get some kills back. But it might not actually be the case. Actiforce, of course, going to steal that blue, and everybody else gets out of dodge A-OK. So a very painful start here for Hunter College, as just nothing went in their favor.
Yeah, and the only bright side is the Samir got 3 waves of solo XP there. And Lassie's just hitting level 2 now, so he is a level down. Most likely going to be probably about a level and a half down for a little while, but is able to somewhat match that CS that Dominating has. And a little engaged here as the Hecarim is coming down, does pop the Ghost, and they're going on to Lassie here, but it's going to turn on to Miasto as he gets hooked back. And it's just going to be the kill given over to Dominating here to even out the ADC in support.
Okay, nice little breath of fresh air then for the Hunter College squad able to get that. Of course, Nautilus eventually becomes an absolutely tanky beast. But level 2, not so much. They're definitely able to turn that nice and quick. As soon as Jason charged onto him, he was down to like a quarter health. So it's definitely a bad time there. But then we have ourselves another gank, this time up in the top lane. Actiforce whoops him on the head here with that bear stance, forcing the flash away. But they're going to be stuck just watching Keanu Reeves run back to the turret. But blowing a lot of resources in the meantime as well. Very quickly, of course, before the action does come back up here, your mini game for this second game. Do you think there's going to be more than 40 kills across both teams here in this matchup tonight, or this afternoon rather? Gotta keep doing that. Vote with your channel points, and let's have a little fun here as this game goes on here, as we're looking for a bloodbath for game number 2. It looks like.
Yeah, really. Rough start for both sides, it seems like. And a little bit of difference here. Lazi did take the TP on that Ezreal, so they do have the three TPs compared to the usual 2 in that mid lane and top. So Thankfully does have the advantage of that global pressure and are able to get around, but 2 of the TPs have been burned in that mid lane and bottom row now, so only ones available are the 2 top laners.
We're looking to push out, maybe, I was going to say go back to go get items, but he's an Ornn, he doesn't have to do that. But we're going to see, it's going to be improved by lose, even though not necessarily on a super aggressive champion looking to roam already, but Saints are just going to pick this dragon up for free, basically no vision around it, until improved by lose would have just spotted it out that moment. Guy's already hitting level 6, keeping even in regards to CS, but better in regards to experience. Kubra might not be long for this world, however. Gonna have to try and use his charge to get out of there. He does have his flash still. He's really holding on to it. A little close, but he does get out of dodge.
Yeah, I think he was expecting the Ornn to, or not the Ornn, the Hecarim to commit to that, but instead burns the flash as the Hecarim turns away. So a little bit of an unlucky timing there, and does get out with his life in the end. But with that, has to burn his TP as the Hecarim and Camille do shove in hard under his tower. So Camille will have that TP advantage onto the entire side of St. Clair.
Lassie might be in for a world of hurt here if Dominating gets pushed through. Not going to be the case, however. Just a little bit of poke damage to both of the Saints bot lane members. Dominating and improved by lose, still just constantly going back and forth here with each other. I know even in like the late game, I know Shoddy was mentioning that the Seraphine maybe wasn't necessarily played right in regards to the builds, but I know Sermonic was doing a lot of setup work to let Dominating go off, let Improve by Lose, like find some additional CC onto the Saints players. So definitely an even matchup here in this bot lane, tit for tat constantly. Definitely not giving the advantage to anybody.
And they're getting a bit aggressive, pushing up for these little deep wards here. Does find the hook onto Improve, and Udi right behind him does do the flash bear slap in. That's going to be Improve. Oh, it's not even going down. Actiforce may have actually found himself too far up. The Samir is level 6, but it does get taken down by Lazi. It's going to be a double kill over to the Thresh, and the TP from the Camille comes in to finish off. Lazi's going to find a double kill, but gets taken down. A 3-for-2 on the side of Hunter College.
Solid teleport coming out there from Keanu Reeves, able to completely turn that one around, but solid little hook there from Improved by Lose as well. The one thing about Udyr, of course, is everything he does is basically just a movement modifier. He has no dashes, he's just doing regular running. So it's very easy to just predict and fire off your hook whenever necessary. Active Force was diving the turret, gets hooked, put back under the turret, finishes him off, and that just made it so there's no tankiness really available. We do see a bit of a lane swap here, actually. Dominating is going to charge on in here with Kubra, and he's going to just spin the win all over him and get the kill onto Kubra. So a nice switch up from the side of Hunter College to take advantage of the fact that Keanu Reeves already teleported bot. Let's send our bot lane up top and just absolutely shred the tank that is Kubra.
Yeah, and they're most likely going to commit to this lane swap for the rest of the game, as they do have... This is a good time for it, as the Herald is spawned the Hecarim is starting it up, and it looks like Force is running over there, but he is alone as everyone on the side of St. Clair is backing. Only has Manso nearby. They get poked out by some Monic. But looks like Force is just going to give us over as he doesn't have the presence from his team. That's just going to be the power of that lane swap in the end. We're finding Kubra in with a good pick.
And now we have basically, of course, both bot lanes up in the top. Mianspo and Active Force looking to try and make the play. Not going to happen. Basin not too far behind as well. Excuse me, ultimate ready in hand in case something does go down. And yeah, I'm just basically completely swapping this one around. Feels like meta of the past coming back to say hi as we do see Mansfield getting absolutely popped here. Lassie is in a bad position as well here. Can he get taken down? That is going to be the case. Is this going to be a triple going over to the Samira? Absolutely. Dominating is doing just that with 5 kills before 10 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the power of Samira, you know. She may not have the lifesteal, but that's going to be a lot of damage going on to Yezreal and basically take him from 100 to 0. That's going to be tower going down as well on the top lane here. Yeah, huge cash in for mid lane. Frez may get caught out here, does get fully engaged on by the Thresh and Demonic, but he has Mianfo nearby. Well, that was a interesting hook there from Mianfo. They connected. Force is here as well, and it's going to be Demonic maybe getting caught out. Frez may have bit off more than he could chew as well in the bot lane. They have a TP coming in from Lazi, and it's going to be Keanu Reeves going down with Mianfo. It's going to get traded back on the top side here as unstoppable on the side of dominating, but Force is trying to do a bit more. He almost catches out oh no, improved by Luce, just taking tower shot there almost a bit more, but Dominate going in does have almost his full stack is going up fully. Okay, I don't even know what to say anymore. This is just super extended fight as Kubra may have found himself in a bad spot going for a deep ward there as Dominate's trying to run him down. Doesn't have the ulti but has the flash. Not in range to burn that ulti. Does have to burn the flash as Simonic's on the side, and such an extended fight as everyone's just trying to back, and in the end it'd be a TP from St. Clair. We're not done yet, actually. It's gonna be actually Ezreal going in. Does get brewed up, but it's gonna be Dominating, finding him again. That's gonna be Mianspo going down. Frez TPing on top of it. Does find Jason, but he's back and his ulti's almost up as well. Dominating going in, and he's actually just gonna get rooted up. Actually, he's gonna maybe go down. No, he's gonna find himself a double kill again. Active Force is back for more. That's gonna be everyone dying. A 3-minute skirmish, and finally ends with an ace on the side of Hunter College, and it's most likely will be the drag as well. 11-1 on the Smear. Gave himself 6 kills, and no, probably about 8 kills in the last 3 minutes.
Well, thank you everybody for choosing Rift Tours as we go from the top lane down to the bot lane, all within 1 damn engagement, and give Hunter College 2 aces? What on earth was that? An absolute mess. That was the most skirmishy, ridiculous thing I think I've seen all season, but absolutely destroying St. Clair is Hunter College there. And now, dominating. Oh, Shadi was saying the Samira isn't really to be worried about anymore. How about 11-1-5 so far here from dominating as he continues to absolutely crush it here with the rest of the Hunter College squad. With this rate, we're going to game 3 as it's 13 minutes and we're almost at a 10k deficit here on the St. Clair College side. There's so much going into the favor of Hunter College, and the skirmishes just keep on coming here, but they're not healthy enough, they're not wealthy enough in regards to the amount of experience and gold they've earned to actually keep taking these fights. And any time that you have Active Force so far behind that like he's not the one like able to start these fights and get the Saints ahead, Saints just lose. It just happens over and over again here. Like 0-4-2 here for Active Force. Normally he's got at least maybe 2 or 3 kills and setting some stuff up, but absolutely brutal. And Actiforce, you're chasing Improve to lose, but where is the rest of the opponents? In fact, can he just get one shot? Okay, he does kind of bait out Improve to lose a little bit there and hands that one over to Lassie, but that was basically a gift.
Yeah, in the end, I believe they probably should have gave that over to Frez so he can get a little bit gold back on this Victor as he's down pretty heavily. You know, Victor gets 25 stacks on his passive for every kill or assist he gets. So the entire skirmish just basically set him up for his entirety of his Hextech passive there to upgrade every ability. And give me over Lazi, you know, you have the Ezreal who can do the damage like he did last time, but you need someone else on this team who can also carry like that Anivia. So a little bit of I would say a little bit of blunder there, but finding the pick on to improve there. And gonna go back to a little bit of a slow start or stalemate here as we're actually look, flashing onto Frez. He's in egg form, and
You're done.
that's just gonna be getting one shot by dominating. A really good play from Improve, and Lassie maybe getting caught out here as they have a deep ward. Oh, a nice Hextech ultimate him over the wall, and the true damage is just one-shotting, but he's actually auto-canceling a lot, and it's actually going to be a trade kill. As Mansfield maybe getting caught out, does get played back, but they may have bit off more than they can chew. Akbar's down 2 levels compared to Jason. Does have the ulti, but helps the phase rush and is going to run away now.
Okay, if there is any saving grace here for the Saints at this time, is this massive gold lead is basically all onto the bot lane. It's all onto the Thresh, and it's all on to dominating, of course. You blow up dominating, this is winnable. But even still, like, Simonik still has a bunch of damage. Keanu Reeves is looking fantastic this game too, down on CS, but makes up for it in kills and assists. And then even Jason, night and day difference here this time. He's the one in the driver's seat. Level 10 compared to level 7 over Actiforce. Just constantly able to contest any sort of objective while being tanky at the same time and dive right on into things. It's looking extremely bleak here for St. Clair, but they have to kill dominating in order to get anything, any chance.
Yeah, they really have to lock down dominating with all their CC and then have to deal with the rest of the team, because if they don't, they're just going to get caught out. And Improve's going to find Cooper possibly. Does burn the flash early, gets played back into the easy hook, and it's going to be dominating, getting another kill, going legendary. 13-1 on this Mira. This is just going downhill really fast for St. Clair as we're approaching that 20-minute mark for Baron, as they have Herald and Jason's coming up. They're pushing onto this tower, and Aquaforce is still in this bot lane trying to counter jungle him, but no one's here to respond.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Take my Krug or take my Gromp, whatever. I'll take your inhibitor turret instead. Value, definitely all over here for Hunter College. And they bring the Rift Herald as well this time by. The fact that inhibitor towers are falling before Baron Nashor is even in the game is always a very bad sign, as we do see Shelly take one last crack at that mid inhibitor turret down to a quarter HP. So one more solid push, and that is definitely going down. Saints are in a spot where they can be threatened with 2 inhibitors worth of super minions, basically at a moment's notice. Improved by Luz, though, kind of stuck out once again. Bryce is going to find himself the elimination this time by. Get himself something started, but that's okay. I will trade you a Thresh, and I will gain a Mountain Dragon. Profits, Hunter.
I think we're approaching almost 4 kills, 5 kills a minute now, compared to the scoreboard. We're 29 kills in 17 minutes. You know, that's a pretty good. I think I'm playing a full queue game right now.
It really feels that way.
Yeah, it's the only bright side on side of St. Clair is that they have that one drag, so not on slow point for the side of Hunter College, and Actiforce trying to get himself up in levels a bit. Does have himself on that level 8 now. Gonna try and get level 9 before Jason gets any more leads, but really looking like a hard hill to climb as they're down about 10,000 gold on the side of St. Clair, and Baron spawning a minute 40. Really have to look to how they're gonna win these engages, because with Samira, as you could see, Cooper was trying to start a little engage there with the Ornhorn, but her passive just blocks him. Looking a little death brush here, try and bait out this red buff. But nobody's gonna come around and steal it from them.
Definitely not opt for it as of right now, but is looking extremely rough here for the Saints side of things. At least, I guess, another thing too, because the Anivia was let through, they do have good wave clear. So they can just keep pushing these waves over and over again, but you can wave clear all you want. That's still not going to get you any objectives. And then with a minute or so, or 50 seconds or so now here for Baron, if Saints could find a pick, that would be absolutely huge, but they don't want to get themselves caught and just send that thing over, or Baron over for free. So you see Active Force, basically any damage just chunks him to a quarter, and if he's not flash bear stancing onto dominating, then there's no way this fight's going to even like get started in the slightest. They're going to try, however. Horn is going to get on to improve by lose and one other, but nothing really else happens here. That's a solid ulti coming out here from the side of Sermonix as well. Lots of damage. Here comes Jason coming in to wreck things. Look how much healing Dominating does through that ultimate. You thought I was dead. I am just completely fine. We win the 5-on-4 as that Keanu Reeves was not even a part of that fight, and it was still that dominating. This one is going to be over pretty much as Baron spawns. A 20-minute game. They could probably finish it. I would imagine they keep on pushing, especially since Keanu Reeves is right here already with that turret.
It's looking like just a triple inhib as they do have members spawning. They are looking back and forth. They're taking a lot of damage from just Keanu Reeves. They're going to get 3 inhibs off this. That's 20 minutes
all 3
inhib. It's setting up for the freest Baron of their lives, as no one's ever going to be able to leave this base. But
oh boy,
so much damage going down onto Dominating there, but they committed everything. The Ornhorn, actually no, they did. I believe they could have possibly killed her if they committed the Ornhorn onto the Samir. They shot that towards the Hecarim, who went straight down mid lane. So instead of going on to the purely stunned Samira, it did let her get away and was able to just flash E onto Lazi there and just drain him for all his health.
Yeah.
But they do have Active Force getting a little bit forward here, as trying to clear out some wards before all these Mega Minions get the base, but they're going to start the Baron here as no one's going to be able to respond, and looking like a pretty doomed game for the side of St. Clair.
And that must be a good feeling as a support player where you can just show yourself and then everybody runs for the hills. It's like, yeah, that's right, you be afraid. I'm just a support, but be afraid. Just knowing that you'll definitely cause trouble and then like you were saying, that Baron goes down pretty well, completely for free. And now, I don't care how good your wave clear is, this is going to be devastating. 3 waves of super minions coming on through. The Anivia can only do so much. There goes the hook. Miansfo is going to get absolutely popped. Sent down under, and everybody else on the Saints are going to be short to follow as Kubra goes down in just a moment. And there... Oh, they do kill Dominating, but I think the damage has already been done. Almost the ace on the side of Hunter College. Everybody who voted that this was going to be a 40-plus kill game with your mini game points. Congratulations. You get the win.
With quadra.
as Kubra gets the fountain dive quadra. But
yeah, I'm curious. Does the Sermonix give over the Penta in the end?
Unfortunately, thanks to the replay system, we may never know. But nonetheless.
I had to check the stats.
Okay, Saints. Take 5 minutes, please, for this next game, because like, losing in general sucks. Losing that badly with a team composition that was barely tweaked, that you counterpicked for, those at least tells me that that is a massive communication issue. Please, get some water. And let's regroup here. We're not going to have Coach's Corner for game number 3. Probably wise. Shadi wants a little bit of extra time with the squad, so fair enough there. So, sure. Dominating's like, I'm at a loss for words here. Dominating Samira was absolutely devastating, but was that really the problem? That's what I'm worried about.
You look at these and you're like, Was it Samir the problem, or was it the 3-minute skirmish that St. Clair dragged on with it? Because you could have ended it at any point.
Mm-hmm.
They had the top skirmish. They moved to the mid lane. They caught Frez out, but then they slowly dragged down to that bot lane. They committed all 3 TPs onto it, and at that point, you knew if you're any coach, you look at that and you go, "This is the moment that this game was lost.
This is
There's
where
no
you take.
coming back from this."
Yeah, and like sometimes like you take a timeout mid game if the league allows you to, but I'm not sure if you're technically allowed to here in cLoL. But the fact that I haven't gotten a lobby invite yet either means they're extremely angry at me because there's a dang. As I say, they're either extremely angry at me for cussing them out or they're taking 5. But in fact, we are going to take ourselves 5 minutes before we hop into game number 3, the decider here between Hunter College and St. Clair College. It's been an absolute bloodbath. I'm sure game 3 will be just as crazy. Please do stick around.